So Texas is experiencing has experienced massive snowstorms, ice covering the whole landscape, and funnily enough, power fell out. Major power shortages. People went without heat and electricity. Some places even without running water for hours, sometimes days. People died. And it's all fault of this bloody Green New Deal and AOC. Wait. The Green New Deal hasn't been implemented yet? Oh, okay. So it's the windmills. The windmills, right? It's these renewable energies, and the windmills, they froze, right? No? They did freeze. Okay, they did freeze. So it's the windmills' fault. What? You're saying they have windmills in other cold places? Like Norway? Iceland? Other United states where it does freeze from time to time? So you're saying you can do something to stop windmills from freezing? Well, who would have thought? So it's not the windmills' fault, it's the fault that they weren't prepared for the cold, right? Okay. So whose fault? So it must be the lousy senator or governor of Texas, right? No, the senators are not responsible for the state. It's the governor. It must be the Democratic governor of Texas. Bloody Democrats. What? The governor of Texas is not a Democrat, but a Republican? Oh no. Governor, senators, both Republican. Okay. Maybe it's not their fault. Maybe it's whoever's doing these power companies, the electrical suppliers, whoever they are. Maybe it's their fault. Maybe they didn't do what is needed to be done, right? What, you're saying this happened already like 10, 11 years ago? They had a snowstorm like that with massive power failures? So they knew how this could turn out, and they know that this happens at relatively regular intervals, and they didn't do anything? They were told, or they were recommended to winterize their equipment? Oh. And then they did that, of course, right? What? They didn't? They knew this could happen and they didn't winterize their equipment? And the state does not regulate this? The state of Texas didn't say, no, you have to winterize? No. Interesting. The state just said, you can just, we recommend, but, do as you feel suits your business. And then they didn't. Interesting. And people died. And everyone's talking about windmills and blaming this on AOC, while free market capitalism allowed this company to not winterize and be responsible for people dying. And you're the party of pro-life, right? Oh yeah, okay. I have to remind myself from time to time. It's pro-life. Except when it comes to winterizing electrical grids. Okay. And like other states have their electrical grid plugged into the national grid so that if there is major power outages, they can be compensated by the national net. But Texas doesn't. Texas is completely cut off from the national grid. Interesting. So they can get by national regulations. Okay. Free market capitalism. Oh, great. Wonderful. Just that, people die for the sake of profits. But this is the freedom we want. The freedom that Ted Cruz was talking about at CPAC. Freedom to let people die. Yeah, because poor people don't have electricity, can't fly to Cancun when power falls out. Their lives don't really matter, do they? And wait, Senator Ted Cruz flew to Cancun during all of this? But I thought it was AOC's fault that all of this happened. What did she do? She probably flew to the Bahamas, right? She didn't? She went to Texas to help people, to raise funds, to get water and food to people and blankets. Hey, she's from New York. Well, why did she come down to Texas? This got nothing to do with Texas. What, she cares about people's lives? She actually does something? I thought she's a socialist. Don't socialists want everyone to die and live poor while living a wealthy lifestyle themselves? Isn't that what... No? So she has nothing to do with the state of Texas, offers her free time as a person to organize, uses her large platform, her popularity to galvanize people and get money and donations flowing to help people who are dying. And she's the one who's against the people? This doesn't make sense. Ted Cruz is the guy who's for the people because he's flying to Cancun. Okay. This is weird. Sometimes it's really difficult to understand Republican logic. I'm trying. I'm really trying. But to me, it seems quite easy to just say, okay, you power supply companies, you have to winterize or we shut you down and then some other company can take over. But no, that would be anti-capitalist, right? Just to put in at least a little bit regulation, just a little bit, would seem common sense. You say oh, this happens in liberal California. Yeah, capitalism rules in California as well. You know what? In fact, this happened over the whole northeast of the U.S. 20 years ago. 3 days power failure in vast areas of the northeast. What was that, 20 years ago? I still remember this. And I'm not from the U.S. I don't live there, but we get news from U.S. from time to time, and the world tends to laugh about you guys. Really, the number one biggest, most powerful, richest country, and you can't have a stable electricity. It's huh? Is this like a banana republic, or is this the U.S.? It is the U.S., but it seems to happen because they don't regulate the electrical companies. They don't regulate much at all, and they just say, no, free market capital will just take care of itself. Yeah, after people die, maybe something happens due to political and populist pressure, maybe, or maybe not, depending on how good Republicans are distorting the truth about what's actually happening. And then people will either continue dying or maybe some regulations will be put into place that actually improve the situation. But ultimately, electrical companies, energy companies in the US don't want to modernize and have the best infrastructure. The deal in capitalism is first priority is to kill off all your competition. Buy them out. Put all your investments into killing the competition, not into having a robust network. And that's why you have major power failures. Because the companies are not incentivized to invest into a good infrastructure. They're incentivized to kill off competition. Yeah, then they have the monopoly and the power failures drop in across a huge web. And everyone's affected. And everyone cries for a few days and then forgets about it because we all worship the big, great capitalism. People's lives, do they matter? I don't know. Maybe it's time for a change. Think about it. Cheers.